why are we going up into the mountains? Well, I guess it all started with me going for the hike is kind of what is the cause for us going up here. With the alcoholism, it damaged my body. I was weak, I was frail, and it also like definitely intensely damaged like my mind, my emotions, and everything. And these people, I can't believe people drive this crazy on this. It's a beautiful drive.
Yeah.
Enjoy the drive, man.
Few words.
Few words.
A
A little bit louder.
As quiet as you can.
As quiet as you can.
All right, man.
I remember Dad wanted me to see a psychologist, and I was so resistant to it. But back then, like, only crazy people went to psychologists. Like, it wasn't the way it is now, where it's like, okay, if everyone goes, and like everyone knows that there's benefit, even if you like had a perfectly fine life. But back then you were crazy, and I think part of it was like, I'm not crazy, but then also I remember like thinking and saying, and I thought this all the way up until like only a few years ago, like, why am I going to tell a stranger my thoughts? They don't know me. They're not going to be able to help me. They don't know me. They don't understand me. Which now I realize like we're all the same, and like all of our problems are the same. We all deal with them in the same kind of ways. But I definitely didn't see a psychologist, and it's probably best for kids to see a psychologist after their parent dies, because that is some crazy stuff. My dad had to travel for work a lot, so he was gone all the time. And so he ended up hiring some Russian nannies. And the first one was Visha. And we needed him because he had to continue. Like, it's quite heroic what he did. He lost his wife, he had 3 kids, and he still managed to like be like a, you know, high yielding employee, for lack of better words. Like, he got it done. And like, obviously he was getting it done for us, not for him. And so it's definitely heroic what he ended up pulling off and how he ended up getting it all done. But he also had the assistance of these crazy Russian nannies for a little while. And Visha lived in the house, and she was absolutely insane. From the beginning, she was like borderline abusive. She like didn't get the culture. She didn't care about like what we were going through. She was an authoritarian for sure. I don't know how long she lasted, but not too long. Long enough to remember, not too long to scar me. And then he fired her, and then we got a new one, and the new one's name was Natasha. And she was like the picture perfect stereotype of a Russian nanny. Like, if there was a role in the movie, she would be exactly it. She was as sweet as could be, too sweet. She understood what we were going through too much. She gave us all the freedom that we could have ever asked for. Also, it was the amount of freedom that could have landed us in jail. She didn't care what we did. I don't think she knew really what we were up to. I guess she was probably kind of either naive, or she was just like, I'm just gonna let these kids do whatever. I don't want to get in trouble and fired like the last lady. But she was the sweetest thing. But that sweetness was definitely taken advantage of by all of us, and we got into some serious trouble.
But yeah, back to the trail and being in the woods. It's like, it was like step one in like helping make me comfortable in who I was. It was like all of the, you know, the miles that you put in every day, how you really have to toughen up. And it was that feeling every day where you're cranking out like 20 to 35 miles a day. It's like, that's not an easy feat. Like, you have to tap into something else. One of my therapists at rehab asked me like what my biggest fear was. And that was one of my biggest fears, was not achieving my full potential. And then going out into the woods, starting to hike the trail, was like me tapping into like being able to really achieve that potential and like kind of see what I was made of. even the trail was another bit of suffering that helped shape me into who I am now. It's like it was all that, from the suffering of my feet hurting on the trail, being hungry all the time, to the suffering of the motorcycle accident, and the suffering of the alcoholism and the hangovers and the regrets and the shame. It's like it's all of it comes out of that stuff. And I don't know if everyone has to go through that, but for me, that was certainly what I needed to become someone that I'm happy to be and proud to be.
Pretty much everyone that we hung out with had a pretty dysfunctional home life, like parents divorced and stuff like that. Not all of them, but the majority did. So we would just, we were the party house because my dad was always gone. So everyone would come over and we would just drink every night. Just smoke weed and drink every night and party and think we're having fun. And even like a lot of people would come over just on the weekends. We'd have a little party on Friday and Saturday, but then there were certain people that would stay all week. And I loved it because I always had someone to party with. And then it turned into us drinking every night of the week. Not like sipping beers, playing video games, but like taking beer bongs, smoking bongs, and like running out and causing mayhem out in the neighborhood and out in the town. So that went on for a while, that went on basically until we moved to California.
Yeah, it was like before I would admit that I actually needed to go to rehab.
So you knew within yourself you needed to, but you didn't outwardly admit it?
I don't think I saw it as an option. I don't think I saw it as an option. I think the overwhelming feeling that I always had was like, I just need to get away. Like if I could only get a break, then I'll be able to like get it together. If I could just get out of the city and not have to like work or worry or whatever, then I'll be okay. And hindsight, I know that wasn't the case. Like I needed rehab, I needed like real help. The idea of getting away was kind of what drew me to the trail. It was like I wanted to get away, and I wanted to, like I thought it would help cure my alcoholism. And then I also just always wanted to just, be comfortable, basically just camping, something that's so simple.
So yeah, I wasn't able to identify then that I had any kind of like drinking problem, or that like a drinking problem was even a real thing. It was an old man thing. So I was just having fun. It's like a snowball effect of meaninglessness. You're like, well, life sucks, so drink. So hangovers suck, keep drinking. Alcoholism sucks, keep drinking. Now everything sucks, keep drinking. I finally got a car my senior year of high school. I got my car and I got into BMX riding again. And then that's all I did. I'd still party, normal kid on the weekends, here and there, but nothing crazy. But it was ever present. I like reignited like my passion for riding bikes, and I got my freedom with the car, and then I had a purpose. And it was just like, all right, well, I don't need that stuff because I have a purpose here now. I remember I went to my graduation, like my dad was there, and I think my brother was there. I think you were there. My sister was there. But afterwards I was just like, I'm going to the skate park. And I just went to the skate park by myself, just rode my bike. It's kind of funny. That was all I wanted to do. It's probably a good way to end the high school thing. I gotta pee. Okay, I'm just taking the one key so I don't jingle jangle all the way over there. All right, we're good. Go down there. All right. I was managing 2 American Apparel stores, and then I started like going out drinking all the time. I would go out with like people I worked with, and then I would always go out alone. Like, there was a period of time where this guy, Trevor, lived with me, and we drank a lot. I'd freaking drink and drive all the time. Didn't even think about it, didn't care, like bad. One night, like I stayed up all night drinking Jameson with him, and I almost bought a miniature horse. I was like steps away from buying this miniature horse from this lady in Temecula. I made the calls, I had it all set up. Like all I had to do was go pick it up, basically. But luckily I was too drunk and I passed out. Or I would have had a miniature horse. That was crazy. That was like around the time where I got my DUI. So I was out drinking, driving all the time. And this one time in particular, instead of taking the freeway home, I went and got a burrito. I got pulled over. It wasn't even a crazy night, luckily, actually. I just had like, whatever, a handful of beers. So I got pulled over. The cop knew right away. I cried a little because I was like, my dad's gonna be so disappointed in me. I'm a loser. And then I did all the tests and everything. He took me away. He didn't even tow my car though. Like, he must have really liked me. So he didn't tow my car. I went to jail. Well, first you sit in like a tank waiting to be processed. And then they bring you into this room, and they bring like 10 people in the room, and there's like little like lines everywhere. So you have like your little section, and you stand in your section, and they tell you just to take off all your clothes, your street clothes. So you strip down naked in a room full of people, and there's like bags in the middle of the room. And they tell you then you have a bag, you take off all your street clothes, you put them in a bag, and then you walk to the center of the room with your naked, with your bag of clothes, and you set that down, and then you pick up their bag, and that has like your jail clothes in it. So it was pretty like degrading and wild. I ended up bailing out, so I was only in there for maybe like 14 hours or something like that. But yeah, I ended up getting out, and I was so ashamed of myself, and I walked back like 30 blocks to my car, and it was a street sweeping day, so I had a ticket. So it's better than the tow, but wasn't free. I was doing it all the time. I deserved to get caught. I'm glad I got caught. I could have killed somebody.
This is actually more of the treacherous terrain I've had to deal with. Yeah. But it's a good sign that I'm getting better. Cool.
But so my license was suspended for a year, and then I was just completely bicycle driven for that year. So I just rode my bike everywhere, and then I became like obsessed with fitness again. So I was like, I'm just gonna ride all day, every day. I didn't drink that entire year. And then I got a job as a security guard at a bar called El Dorado. And I didn't drink when I worked there. Like, you could have a shift beer, and I never did it. But that led to me getting a job at a bar called El Camino. And I was gonna be a bar back there. I was bar back for a while, and then I worked my ass off, and I just like made myself available for everything at that place. And I learned how to bartend, and then I got bumped up to bartender. So as I worked there, my drinking just kind of got more habitual and worse. And then all the people that I was hanging out with, we would always, like, that's what everyone does when you work in restaurants. You go out and drink on your days off. So I saw that pretty early on. I was like, all right, we're drinking at work and we're drinking on our days off. I don't know when the last time I didn't drink was. And then there was one night, it happened to be the 3rd of July. I was working alone, so I had no help, and it was as busy as like a regular like Friday night would be. And I just started partying, really. I just was taking shot after shot after shot after shot. Like, lost track of everything, was probably giving everything away for free. It was bad. One of the owners drank a lot, and he came out back when I was closing up, and he was drunk and I was drunk, and I think he was like calling me out, trying to tell me like to get to work or get it done or whatever, rightfully so. And I just wasn't having it. And so I get in an argument with him, and I just decided on the spot, I quit. And so I just quit, and I walked out. and I left all my tips behind. Like, I was done. And then I woke up the next morning with intense anxiety, like, what have I done? Like, that was a great job. I was making great money, and I've never made that much money in my life. It's like, what have I done? And then I kind of started to like accept it and like be excited about it. And like I realized, like, it's Independence Day. It's the 4th of July. I just quit my job last night. Like, it's time to go. Like, I'm gonna go travel. And so I decided right then and there that I was gonna go on this road trip. And so I talked to my roommates. I ended up putting in my 30-day notice with them. Started getting all my affairs in order to be able to go and hit the road. And I was gonna go on this extended road trip. Just about a month afterwards, I hit the road, and I was out there for just about 3 months. I was just driving around in my pickup truck. I was sleeping in the back seat of a Toyota Tacoma, and they were pretty small, so you couldn't stretch out. You just had to lay kind of crunched up. Yeah, it was another one of those things where it was like this huge moment, this huge decision was made, unfortunately when I was drunk, but it ended up being exactly what I needed. And like now when I look back on all of it, it's like that was a catalyst to get me on the road and feel like real true freedom. And so had I not done that, it's another weird thing where like, if I didn't have to feel that anxiety and regret and shame, then I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now. It's all those little crazy moments that feel like life is over. Like you've ruined it all. And it's like out of those moments for me is what comes like the best things come out of it. Okay. Is this thing on? Is it good? I don't know how I'm gonna get comfortable.
Good. Hi everyone, Future Ryan here. If you enjoyed that, there will be plenty more to come. So please subscribe and like. Definitely please share it with your friends and family, and comment. And I'll probably start talking to you through the comments, most likely. I don't really have much else to do out here. Yeah, please subscribe. Bye.